Hey guys, welcome to my 10th Let's Play of Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen. These are the first games in the Pokemon series. Well, sort of. The very first games were Pokemon Red and Blue, released for the Game Boy, and these are the updated, remade versions for the Game Boy Advance. I want to make this series because these are my first Pokemon games, and they were the first Pokemon games for many people as well. I want to use this Let's Play to show off exactly what these games are all about, and also to serve as an introduction to the Pokemon franchise for newcomers, because there's a lot to say about the series, and getting into it can be intimidating for a lot of people given the sheer amount of content there is. So what better way to introduce the series than the very first games? Granted, many things about these games are outdated by modern standards, but I feel like they still serve as a good introduction. I also will be doing bios of every Pokemon you can encounter in the game, and giving my thoughts on them, what I think their strengths and weaknesses are, whether I'd recommend them or not, and I'll be going in depth for each of them. So with that being said, let's get started. The various buttons will be explained in the order of their importance. Here, they just tell you everything you need to know as soon as you start up the game. In the world which you are about to enter, you will embark on a great adventure with you as the hero. Speak to people and check things wherever you go, be it towns, roads, or caves. Gather information and hints from every source. New paths will open to you by helping people in need, overcoming challenges, and solving mysteries. At times, you will be challenged by others and attacked by wild creatures. Be brave and keep pushing on. Through your adventure, we hope that you will interact with all sorts of people and achieve personal growth. That is our biggest objective. Press the A button and let your adventure begin. Hello there, glad to meet you. Welcome to the world of Pokemon. My name is Oak. People affectionately refer to me as the Pokemon Professor. This world is inhabited far and wide by creatures called Pokemon. For some people, Pokemon are pets. Others use them for battling. As for myself, I study Pokemon as a profession. But first, tell me a little about yourself. And tell me, are you a boy or are you a girl? You can choose between either of the avatar options. Let's begin with your name. What is it? I'll be using my own name, Tim, for this. I'm using all caps, even though you can use lowercase and even symbols. The reason for this is that proper names are in all caps in this game's font, and I thought it would be a little odd if my own name wasn't. Right, so your name is Tim. This is my grandson. He's been your rival since you both were babies. What was his name now? Bro, you forgot your own grandson's name. Okay, that doesn't reflect very good on you, let me just say that. Anyway, there are many different names people like to choose for this character. Some call him Gary, others call him Blue, but the name I've chosen for this Let's Play is Neil. I'll be explaining it later. Or was it Neil? That's right, I remember now, his name is Neil. Tim, your very own Pokemon legend is about to unfold. A world of dreams and adventures with Pokemon awaits. Let's go. Starting off, we wake up in our room to play with the NES. Okay, it's time to go. Seems like we're a bit of a retro gamer, unless this takes place in the 90s like it supposedly does. It's crammed full of Pokemon books. It's a nicely made dresser, it will hold a lot of stuff. First thing you want to do is go to the PC in the corner and select item storage. There is a potion stored in this PC, but we don't really have a use for it just yet. We can also deposit it if we want to, but why would we? There is no mail here. I didn't mean to hit select, but if you open up this menu at start, we can check our bag, and there's not a whole lot to do there. You can also check our ID, which shows our trainer number, and we already have $3,000. We can save our game or go into options. I have the text set to fast and the frame set to type 4 because green is my favorite color. And yeah, I see the irony in that I'm playing FireRed, not LeafGreen. But come on, Fire just sounds cooler than Leaf. It's a post-it notice. If you're confused, ask for help. Press the L or R button. Doing so, greetings is the help system. Call me up whenever and wherever you need by pressing the L or R button. The help messages change to suit the situation, so check them often, please. You can learn about the game and what to do in different situations. It offers general advice, so don't expect it to really give much hints if you're struggling with a detailed puzzle, but it can be pretty helpful. There's a movie on TV. 4 boys are walking railroad tracks. I better go too. This is a reference to Stand By Me. If you chose a female trainer, there will be a reference to the Wizard of Oz instead, mentioning a yellow brick road. Right. All boys leave home someday. It said so on TV. Are you really taking parenting advice from TV? What if there's like a Lifetime movie? Oh yes, Professor Oak next door is looking for you. Questioning our mom's parenting skills aside, let's leave the house and go to Pallet Town. Tim's house, yeah, this isn't even her house, it's our house apparently. Pallet Town, shades of your journey await. The signpost says trainer tips. Press start to open the menu. We knew that already, I'm 10 steps ahead of you. Signs are useful, aren't they? Maybe though they will be in the future, but that one wasn't. Technology is incredible. You can now store and recall items and Pokemon as data via PC. Oak Pokemon Research Lab, that kind of reads like it's studying Oak Pokemon and it's not a Pokemon lab named for Professor Oak. Professor Oak may not look like much, but he's the authority on Pokemon. Many Pokemon trainers hold him in high regard. I study Pokemon as Professor Oak's aide. This guy over here is a clone of him because he says the exact same thing. And if it isn't our rival, what, it's only Tim? Gramps isn't around. What could this machine be? Better not mess around with it. I guess these are... I thought those were springboards at first, but I guess they're just books. Lights in different colors are flashing on and off. There's an email message here. Finally, the ultimate trainers of the Pokemon League are ready to take on all comers. Bring your best Pokemon and see how you rate as a trainer. Pokemon League headquarters, Indigo Plateau. Professor Oak, please visit us. We have some life jacket looking things here. It's like an encyclopedia, but the pages are blank. Press start to open the menu. You said the same thing as outside. The save options on the menu, use it regularly. Those are Pokeballs. They contain Pokemon. Seems like there's nothing else to do in the lab, so how about we explore the only one other house in what supposedly is a town. Neil's house. Apparently he also owns his own house at the age of 10 too. He's really getting ahead of himself. Well, I mean, it isn't really a house because it's just this one room. Hi Tim, my brother Neil is at his grandpa's lab. This here is a big map of the Kanto region. Now this would be useful. This land mass we're sort of on is called the Kanto region of the Pokemon world, and we'll be talking more about the extent of it later on. There's a Pokemon TV. It looks like it's having fun. The lovely and sweet Clefairy. The shelves are crammed full of books and Pokemon. You're going to see a lot of flavor text like that if you look around, but as you're already noticing, a big portion of this game is going to be inspecting a lot of things you see. It very much encourages exploration and interaction with the environment. Hey wait, don't go out! Well, to a certain degree it does anyway. It's unsafe. Wild Pokemon live in tall grass. You need your own Pokemon for your protection. I know, here, come with me. Gramps, I'm fed up with waiting. Neil, let me think. Oh, that's right, I told you to come. Just wait, bro, you're forgetting your grandson a second time? Really? Here, Tim. There are 3 Pokemon here. Haha, the Pokemon are held inside these Pokeballs. When I was young, I was a serious Pokemon trainer. But now in my old age, I have only these 3 left. You can have one. Go on, choose. Hey, Gramps, no fair, what about me? Be patient, Neil. You can have one too. And I don't need to be greedy like you, I'm mature. So go ahead and choose, Tim. Now Tim, besides those 3 Pokeballs or Pokemon, which one will you choose for yourself? We have 3 options here. Bulbasaur is your choice. It's very easy to raise. So Tim, you want to go with the grass Pokemon Bulbasaur? Not just yet. Squirtle is your choice. It's one worth raising. So Tim, you decide on the water Pokemon Squirtle? Also not just yet. Charmander is your choice. You should raise it patiently. So Tim, you're claiming the fire Pokemon Charmander? Not just yet a 3rd time. All 3 of these are what we call starters. You select one to use throughout your journey, and the 3 of them are mutually exclusive. All 3 of these are very good Pokemon, and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. You also notice that it said grass, water, and fire. These are what we call Pokemon types and are basically elemental attributes. We'll be delving more into what the types do as we go on, but it's important to remember that every Pokemon has a type, and you'll want to factor that in when battling. Now with that out of the way, let's do some bios on these starters. Getting started, I should emphasize that all 3 starters are very good Pokemon. Let's go through each of them. Starting off, we have Bulbasaur. It's a grass poison type, which at level 16 will evolve into Ivysaur. You'll notice that its base stats gains an increase when it evolves. This is a general trend you'll see among all Pokemon. When they evolve, they typically will have an increase in their stats with a few rare exceptions. At level 32, it finally evolves into Venusaur, where you can finally use its full potential. Venusaur specializes in status effects. It learns moves that allows it to poison enemies, put them to sleep, and continually drain their HP to restore its own. Its major weakness is that it doesn't learn many good offensive moves. It specializes more in support and uses status effects to whittle away at enemy HP to guarantee victory in later turns, provided the enemy can't heal their conditions. If you choose Bulbasaur, I would recommend catching Pokemon for your team that are faster and more offense-oriented to complement it. Now moving on to Charmander. Charmander is a fire type, and at level 16 evolves into the next stage of its evolution, Charmeleon. However, it evolves later than Ivysaur does, and takes into level 36 to fully evolve into Charizard. The Charizard line specializes in raw offense. It has great special attack and speed, allowing it to strike first and sweep through enemies. It learns a ton of good moves, and later on can be taught moves of various types, allowing for a lot of diversity in its moveset. However, its weak point is its defense, which is average. It's especially weak to water, electric, and rock type moves. It also will have a disadvantage at the start, since certain boss battles will use water and rock Pokemon. However, if you take this into account and catch Pokemon that can cover its weaknesses, Charizard can be a very devastating Pokemon. I should also mention that Charizard also gets the flying type. Last but not least, we have Squirtle, our water type starter. Squirtle has the same evolution pattern as Charmander. It evolves at level 16 into Wartortle, and then later at level 36 into Blastoise. The Blastoise line specializes in defense. It can easily tank moves from most types, and like Charizard, can learn moves of many different types. The only types you'll need to watch out for are electric and grass types, but that's it. However, its offensive stats aren't as good, and there usually will be better Pokemon to teach learnable moves to. That being said, Blastoise is still a versatile Pokemon, and it still can prove helpful in many different situations. If you choose Squirtle, I would recommend catching Pokemon that can take care of electric and grass types to make up for that weak spot. I should also mention that of the 3, Bulbasaur is sort of easy mode, Squirtle is medium, and Charmander is sort of hard mode, but only for a while. The reason for this is that Bulbasaur is going to have an advantage against early game battles, and Charmander will be at a disadvantage. But as I mentioned, all three are very good Pokemon. Though Charmander also does face a really uphill battle. It doesn't start off with the skills it needs to really thrive, and it's going to have a very hard time getting used to things. But in that sense, it's just like me. Come here, buddy. This Pokemon is really quite energetic. Tim received a Charmander from Professor Oak. Do you want to give a nickname to this Charmander? Many people, when starting Pokemon, don't really come up with unique names and just name it a derivative of the Pokemon name. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Welcome to the team, Charlie. I'll take this one then. You'll receive a Squirtle from Professor Oak. If we go into the menu, we can also see a summary of our Pokemon. Hardy Nature met in Pallet Town at level 5. We see he has 44 EXP points to the next level. He's so far at level 5, and he only has 2 moves as of yet. But surely he'll get stronger as we go along our adventure. If a wild Pokemon appears, your Pokemon can battle it. With that at your side, you should be able to reach the next town. Wait, Tim, let's check out our Pokemon. Come on, I'll take you on. Here we have our first battle against our rival Neil. Rival Neil sent out Squirtle. Go Charlie. Oh, for Pete's sake, so pushy as always. Tim, you've never had a Pokemon battle before, have you? Pokemon battles when trainers pit their Pokemon against each other. That sounds kind of obvious. The trainer that makes other trainers' Pokemon faint by lowering their HP to 0 wins. Rather than talk about it, you'll learn more from experience. Try battling and see for yourself. Your rival will always choose a Pokemon that has a type advantage against you. Inflicted damage to foes key at any battle. Charlie is a fire type and Squirtle is a water type. Water puts out fire, so water is strong against fire. If you had chosen Squirtle, then your rival would have chosen Bulbasaur since grass is strong against water since grass absorbs water. If he had chosen Bulbasaur, Neil would have chosen Charmander because fire burns grass. It's a simple elemental triangle to get you used to the concept of types. However, you don't have to worry about it for this battle since both of your Pokemon only know one move that can lower the opponent's stats and only one that can actually do damage. And if worse comes to worse, we have the potion we got from our PC. Charlie is going to be taking more damage than he would have because the Squirtle lowered our defense. Okay. Charlie also goes first before the Squirtle, so we'll be good. Though Squirtle fainted, Charlie gained 70 experience points, and he made it to level 6. Player defeated rival Neil. What? Unbelievable! I picked the wrong Pokemon. Tim got 80 Pokédollars for winning. Excellent. If you win, you earn prize money and your Pokemon will grow. Battle other trainers and make your Pokemon strong. Okay, I'll make my Pokemon battle to toughen it up. Tim, Gramps, smell you later. Tim, raise your young Pokemon by making it battle. It has to battle for it to grow. Your Pokemon is healed after that battle, so you don't have to worry about it too much. First things first, let's go back and talk to Daisy, though. She has a very important item for us. Tim, I heard you had a battle against Neil. I wish I'd seen that. Oh wait, no, she doesn't have just yet. I stand corrected on that. That's one less thing we have to do. So let's set out on our adventure on Route 1. And we mentioned that the tall grass is dangerous because wild Pokemon hide in there. Route 1, Pallet Town to Viridian City. Let's talk to this guy too. Hi, I work at a Pokemon Mart. It's part of a convenient chain selling all sorts of items. Please visit us in Viridian City. I know, I'll give you a sample. Here you go. Obtain the potion. Tim put the potion away in the bag's items pocket. As you walk through tall grass, you'll have a chance of encountering wild Pokemon, and here's going to be our first one. A wild Pidgey appeared. Go Charlie. Your Pokemon will be able to take on these Route 1 Pokemon pretty easily, but they're a good way to gain some extra experience for now. The wild Pokemon also only know really basic moves like Scratch and Tackle, which only do simple damage. We had a critical hit there, which means we did slightly more damage than usual. Charlie's made it to level 7. Charlie learned Ember. That's going to be very helpful. If you open up our menu and check his summary, you'll notice that Ember is a Fire-type move. In addition to Pokemon, moves also have different types to them. If the type of a Pokemon and a move match up, you'll get what's called a same-type attack bonus, or often abbreviated to stab bonus. This essentially means that that move used by that Pokemon will deal extra damage. So you want to keep that in mind when battling on how to get an extra damage to your foe. See those ledges along the road? It's a bit scary, but you can jump from them. You can get back to Pallet Town quicker that way. Just like he said, we can easily jump off these ledges. Before we do that, let's just run through the wild grass again and make our way up to Viridian City. And wow, we only encountered one Pokemon along the way. I was kind of expecting more. But, like I said, welcome to Viridian City. Trainer tips. The battle moves of Pokemon are limited by their power points. PP, a very unfortunate name. To replenish PP, rest your tired Pokemon at the Pokemon Center. Sorry, just burped right there, so that's why my voice went all weird for a second. There's nothing over to the right, and the bottom of this plaza kind of looks like it's a bunch of faces with like a line for a mouth. This right here, heal your Pokemon, Pokemon Center. You can enter any of these in order to heal up your Pokemon. Welcome to our Pokemon Center. Would you like me to heal your Pokemon back to perfect health? Okay, I'll take your Pokemon for a few seconds. Thank you for waiting. We've restored your Pokemon to full health. We hope to see you again. That sounds kind of ominous, like they want us to get hurt again. Pokemon Centers heal your tired, hurt, or fainted Pokemon. They make all Pokemon completely healthy. There's a Pokemon Center in every town ahead. They charge no money, so don't be shy about healing Pokemon. These essentially are your healing spots where you can get back into top shape. Feel free to use that PC in the corner. The receptionist only so kind of her. If you go into the PC, we can access someone's PC and even store Pokemon, but there's not much use of that. Access Tim's PC. And there's nothing else to do there, it's just what we saw back home. However, here in the corner, a town map. This is a map of the Kanto region. We started off in Pallet Town, went along Route 1, and got here to Viridian City. You can see the names of every place we'll be going here. It gives you a sense of the scale of this game. I also really love that sound effect. I don't know why, it's just really addicting. Now, if you're wondering what's on the top floor, it basically is the hub for all the multiplayer features this game had with the GBA link cable system. But good luck finding a use for that, considering this game is like 20 years old, and sadly not many people have GBAs anymore. So we won't really be showing off anything you can do there. You want to know about the two types of Caterpillar Pokemon? Caterpie is no poison, but Weedle does. Watch out your Pokemon aren't stabbed by Weedle's poison sting. We'll want to keep that in mind for the future. Here's that Pokemon we heard about. Hey, you came from Pallet Town? You know Professor Oak, right? His order came in. Can I get you to take it to him? Tim received Oak's parcel from the Pokemon Mart clerk. Put the Oak's parcel in the key on his pocket. Okay, thanks. Please say hi to Professor Oak for me. I've got to buy some potions. You never know when your Pokemon will need quick healing. Wow, tons of Pokemon stuff. The shop does good business in antidotes, I've heard. We'll want to keep that in mind for later. For now, let's explore more of Viridian City, and we'll also have to go back to Pallet Town to deliver that thing for Professor Oak. Whew, I'm trying to memorize all my notes. Let's check out the notebook. First page, Pokeballs are used to catch Pokemon. Up to 6 Pokemon can be carried up in your party. People who raise and battle with Pokemon are called trainers. Second page, a healthy Pokemon may be hard to catch, so weaken it first. Poison, burn, or cause another status problem to weaken it. Turn the page. Third page, Pokemon trainers seek others to engage in Pokemon battles. To trainers, the taste of victory is sweet indeed. Battles are constantly waged at Pokemon gyms everywhere. Fourth page. The ultimate goal for all Pokemon trainers is simple. It is to defeat the top 8 Pokemon gym leaders. To do so to earn the right to face the Elite Four of the Pokemon League. Hey, don't look at my notes! The blackboard lists Pokemon stats problems during battles. We can learn about Sleep, Poison, Paralyze, Freeze, Burn, or Exit. Exit isn't a real status effect. I'll be explaining what those do as we see them in the wild. Pokemon Journal. Special feature, Professor Oak, the Pokemon researcher. Professor Oak reportedly lives with his grandchildren, Daisy and Neil. Okay, be sure to read what's on the blackboard carefully. Man, this is a really sad school if there's only like one student, but I guess maybe it's just what it was like during lockdown. Those Pokeballs are your race. You have Pokemon, don't you? It's great that you can carry and use Pokemon anytime and anywhere. This sign says Radiant City, the eternally green paradise. Let's ignore that old dude and... Okay, there's nothing over there either. We see a gym there, and we heard about gyms from the school. There are 8 gyms around the region we'll want to visit in our quest around the world, or at least a region. Tweet! My daddy loves Pokemon too. Coming up with indie games is fun, but it's not so easy to do. Clever names are nice, but simple names are easier to remember. And he nicknamed this guy Speary. Spearow, name, Speary. There's Pokemon TV, looks like it's having fun. We already saw that back at Professor Oak's house. Oh, Grandpa, don't be so mean. I'm so sorry, he hasn't had his coffee yet. I absolutely forbid you from going through here. This is private property. True to his word, we can't go through here. In the Japanese version, this guy was passed out drunk in the center of the road, but I honestly like the idea of just a grumpy old man lying down because he hasn't had his coffee. I don't know, it just seems way funnier to me that way. Now we can go around this bush here to get a potion. To put the potion in the items pocket. Now we could go to the left right here, but I think it's better off if we deliver that parcel to Professor Oak, since we don't want to keep the mail waiting, and besides it's a federal crime to, well, withhold someone's mail. Or I think it's to open someone else's mail. I forget what the exact specific thing is. I'm bad at remembering my own laws. As the guy said, we can just jump along those ledges in order to easily return to Pallet Town. And maybe we'll run to some wild Pokemon? Yeah, we will. And it's a new one, a Rattata. Wild Rattata here to go Charlie. Let's try the new move, Ember. Wow, we almost took him out in one hit. As you saw, that did way more damage than Scratch, even though on the moves page, both were listed as having power 40. That's because we got the same type of attack bonus on Ember, so that's what that mechanic is in action. For all Rattata faded, Charlie gains 16 experience points. Let's go back to Professor Oak's lab and finally deliver his mail to him. You have to wonder why they delivered it to Viridian City, not just Pallet Town. Oh, Tim, how's my old Pokemon? Well, it seems to be growing more attached to you. You must be talented as a Pokemon trainer. What's that? You have something for me? Tim delivered Oak's parcel. Oh, it's a custom Pokeball. I had it on order, thank you. Gramps. I almost forgot. What do you call me for? Oh right, I have a request for you two. Finally you didn't forget your own grandson. On the desk there is my invention, the Pokedex. It automatically records data on Pokemon you've seen or caught. It's a high-tech encyclopedia. Tim and Neil, take these with you. Tim receives a Pokedex from Professor Oak. You can't get detailed data on Pokemon by just seeing them. You must catch them to obtain complete data. So here are some tools for catching wild Pokemon. Tim received 5 Pokeballs. Tim put the Pokeballs in the Pokeballs pocket. When a wild Pokemon appears, it's fair game. Just throw a Pokeball at it and try to catch it. This won't always work, however. A healthy Pokemon can escape. You have to be lucky. To make a complete guide on all the Pokemon in the world. That was my dream. But I'm too old. I can't get the job done. So I want you two to fulfill my dream for me. Get moving, you two. This is a great undertaking in Pokemon history. Alright, Gramps, leave it all to me. Tim, I hate to say it, but you won't be necessary for this. I know, I'll borrow a town map from my sis. I'll tell her not to lend you one, Tim. Don't bother coming around my place after this. Pokemon around the world wait for you, Tim. We have our main objective here, Professor. Oh, you just say the same thing. Like you said, how about we go over to Neil's house and do exactly what he said not to do, get a town map. Grandpa asked you to run an errand? Gee, that's lazy of him. Here, this will help you. Tim received a town map from Daisy. Tim put the town map in the key item's pocket. If we open the menu and go to our bag, key menus, we can finally open the town map and even register it. By registering it, you can hit the select button and open it at any time in the field. So we get a reference of exactly what we'll be doing. We have 8 gyms to master before we can take on the Elite Four at Indigo Plateau. And we also got the Pokedex. Pokemon list, numerical mode, you can see different Pokemon by all sorts of criteria. You can view them by environment, A to Z mode, type mode, lightest mode, smallest mode. We've seen 4 Pokemon and owned 1. Ones you have seen will be named, and ones you have caught will have their type shown and the Pokemon icon next to them. From the time it was born, a flame burns the tip of its tail. Its life would end if the flame were to go out. Get used to seeing really disturbing things in the Pokedex, because that's one of the tamer ones. By pressing the start button, you can also hear their cry. But we have some Pokeballs. We met our first ever Pokemon, Charlie the Charmander, and we have a map, and a general idea of where we should go. Next time on Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen, we set out on our journey to become a Pokemon Master. See you guys then.